Hello everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Trader Talks. It's the big one. It's Nvidia. They had their earnings out last night and I wanted to review it. So as always, do like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the reaction of their earnings. The biggest company in the world. If you're on the podcast, the link is in the bio for the YouTube. And do remember that the presentation is for educational purposes only. It should not be taken as investment advice, personal recommendation, or an offer of or solicitation to buy or sell any financial instruments. So what happened? They reported their earnings quarter 3 at the end of the market close yesterday, 20 minutes after, and it was a good one, to be fair. As soon as I saw those numbers, I was like, this is going to go higher, and it did. It's currently trading about 5% higher, so not massive. But interestingly, in the build up to the release, it had been trending a little bit down, as the whole market had. So a good report has pushed us a little bit higher. I guess the question is, do you think this now goes back to all-time high, or is it going to reverse those gains that we've had in the last 12 or 13, 14 hours or so? They reported $57 billion in revenue, which was incredible, 22% increase from the previous quarter and a 62% surge year over year. The company shipped approximately $50 billion worth of the Blackwell platforms in the quarter. And then Jensen Huang noted charts dismissed bubble concerns and highlighted a 3 to 4 trillion global AI infrastructure spend by the trend. So he's very happy. Let's have a quick look at the chart. And this is a daily chart that you can see right now. So we're pretty good at the moment. We're not too far away, roughly speaking, at the time of recording. We're only another 8% away from all-time high. So the question, first of all, for everyone is that the next level that gets tested? Heading into the report, I thought it was quite interesting that we were hovering in and around this sort of support area. And the worry, I guess, investors would have had, bullish investors would have had, that if we had, say, been trading below the blue line, really, momentum, not just for this market, but the whole market would be super bearish. And you'd imagine we actually trade back towards that 200-day moving average, about 150. As it stands, it's held up really nicely. And from a purely sort of technical point of view, the next level for me anyway, that I would want to keep an eye on, and I'd imagine a lot of traders would be focusing on it as well, is 201. And the reason being, you can see after we found support here on the 3rd of November, we then found resistance once, twice. Okay, now what happens the third time? Bullish investors, bullish traders, short, medium term, long term, will be wanting to see us get above that level. And then really you'd imagine the all-time high would be a bit of a routine from then. So that's something I think is worth keeping a watch on. Where do we close the week? Do we close in between all this range and it just going to remain range bound? Do we close above our resistance level and we can now push on to the all-time high? Or do we actually reject it today, move lower, and then close below? And that's when I think the broader market would start to worry. We saw a really nice move across risk assets yesterday. The Nasdaq was up over 1%. Bitcoin, crypto in general benefited it as well. The AI stocks have done pretty good too, as it kind of seems like, well, actually, it isn't a bubble just yet. And Nvidia delivered very strong earnings report, which they absolutely did. I think also just worth having on, and it's by no means perfect, just a bit of a potential trend line, which again, we haven't had the third test, but you can see that would kind of match up with those resistance levels from the 11th and the 5th of November, which just makes this zone even more important. Now, if you had bought yesterday or a couple of days before, this would be an obvious target really to take a little bit of profit. You'd be looking in and around sort of 12% on the spot market, not a bad return. So that for me is something I'm really looking to keep an eye on. Of course, when you zoom out, it's done incredibly well, phenomenally well. And I know there would have been some people that are a little bit disappointed that it was a really good report, because they would say, well, I'd love to get it at the 200-day moving average, because by the time that comes down, you're also looking at the previous all-time highs. That would be a really good place, I'd imagine, for a lot of people to consider buying the dip. It just so happens, good report, we push higher, and where we close the week will be really, really key. Above the trend line, you'd imagine the next step is towards the all-time high. We reject it, and we're just back in that range. So let me know your thoughts on it all. It was divided opinion on the eToro feed yesterday. Some people thought it was massively overvalued, it's going to crash. Others thought it was going to be a really good report, and they've been proven right. We'll let the price action decide by the end of the week what actually happens. But yeah, let me know, and let me know the next episode that you want. Take care until then. See you soon.